Hello everybody, it's Coffee Morning with Karlos, where I talk about a game based upon top secret criteria whilst drinking my morning coffee until my cup is dry. I hope you had a good spooky season. Mine was varied. Without dragging out the details, I played a few games and wanted to make a few videos, but they didn't materialise. Nevertheless, footage was generated, and where would we be if people didn't upload every bit of gaming detritus to the intertubes? The Stone Age, that's where. Or at least the 90s, and no one wants that again. So let's have a look at what exactly it was that I was doing with my time then, shall we? Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Something was nagging at me about this game whilst I was playing it, and now it struck me. This is the Quantum Leap video game that should have been. You get to hop into the bodies of various people from the past who all have a role to play in the coming encroachment of Cthulhu, or Shalbog Throgoth, or whatever the hell eldritch horror from beyond the moon. A nifty little action adventure for the Gamecube featuring some sanity mechanic jiggery pokery where the game tries to convince you you're the one going mad in real life. But only for a few seconds, and not really. Anyway, this game is a bit of a legend, so it really doesn't need me to throw in my 2 pennies. Suffice to say that it's well worth playing today. Tron 2.0. I never played the Tron game, even though it's fairly old by now, 2003 I believe, but something about the retro-futurism flavour of Tron helps the aesthetic remain fairly timeless. It's a puzzle-solving and platforming FPS, which don't always hit the mark with me, but I enjoyed this one. No sign of Jeff Bridges, which is a black mark, but it does get 37 points for using a killer frisbee as a weapon and including lots of nearly funny computer-based puns.
Well, user, now that you've been digitized, you can think of me as your tour guide to the world inside the computer.
Maple Story 2. Yet another MMO joined the ranks of games that I played for about an hour, went to do something else, and then just never went back to. I mean, it looks okay, I guess. I had a skateboard at one point. It's probably really good, unless it isn't. DeBlob 2, because I like a squidgy paint dude as much as the next person, and also because that's 3 number 2s in a row. Number 2. DeBlob's actually really cool though, but the camera can be a little bit of a battle sometimes. I played through this back in the Xbox 360 days and it remains fun, charming and colourful just like it was back then. Not a hugely challenging game, but DeBlob isn't a game you play for bragging rights unless you're into the whole underground competitive DeBlob scene where people refer to themselves as blobbers, and the second rule is that you don't talk about Blob Club, I imagine. Frogger something. A game so bad I didn't even bother to write the proper name down for it, and yet actually the only one that I might end up doing a more fully realised video about. Strange how things work out. Frogger didn't need to be in 3D, nor did it need a storyline, dear lord. So yeah, that was a bunch of games that I was playing, and if you're asking if I played any scary games over Halloween, then if it pleases you to assume I did, carry on thinking that. Long-time viewers of the channel might be interested to know that I actually managed to play Night Trap this year, which was kind of lame, but also kind of brilliant. Look, I did say might be interested. Before I go, let's have some real talk. As I record this, it's been about 48 hours since I read that Rick Grimes, or Grimy as he liked to be called, from The Walking Dead, is to have a movie trilogy centred around him. Firstly, if an Andrew Lincoln character is going to be in 3 movies of anything, then it should be Egg, as any fool should know. Secondly, this whole business of making movie trilogies from nowhere is beyond stupid. Here's how it should work. You make a movie, if it's good and there's room to expand the story, then you make a sequel. If that one is good, then you make a third film that basically takes a runny shit all over the legacy of the previous 2 movies. This is elementary movie making. Planning to do 3 movies from the start just means that you end up with a bloated, meandering mess that dawdles, treads water for an entire movie, and having to crowbar unnecessary plot filler about elf-dwarf love that ruins the whole bloody thing. Doesn't it, Mr. Jackson? By God, I'm never going to forgive you for the travesty of a cinematic turd you served up, claiming it had something to do with Tolkien's book. I mean, Legolas? Legolas? Might as well have stuck Legoland in the bloody movie for how out of place and jarring he was. And don't get me started on your total failure to characterise the dwarves properly, and then...